Hey, have you been growing peppers with very little success? Well, I'm going to show you a very simple method that you can grow tons of peppers off of just one plant. So let's get into it. Hey, this is Jason with Cattywampus Acres, and I wanted to take some time today and just show you guys what you can do to get a ton of peppers off of one little plant, and that's why I'm down here in our garden. As you can see, this pepper plant has a ton of fruit already growing off of it, and hopefully we can get that right there. But you see each one of those has a ton of fruit. Here's the thing, if you just let your peppers grow up on one tiny little single stalk, you're not going to get very much. And if there's one thing I learned over the last few years of getting into gardening, is that many things, many fruits and many vegetables, it makes a tremendous difference when you prune them. Now, I know some of you watching this are going to have some pruning anxiety, which is what it's called when you're just scared to prune because you're afraid you're going to lose everything that you have been growing. But you got to get over that, and hopefully after our little talk here we can help you get over that. So if there's one thing I learned about pruning, is basically what a plant wants to do is a plant wants to just grow and grow and grow, and it wants to give plenty of green little leaves off. I don't really think that it cares too much about the fruit. But here's the difference. Us humans, we do care about the fruit, and that's what we want, because I'm not going to sit around here and eat pepper leaves. Maybe you are, I'm not going to. So as with pruning anything, pruning is basically just taking the energy and redirecting it into a plant. So when a pepper plant begins to grow, it goes straight up just like this. These are some pepper plants that we have not actually pruned yet. Yes, if we just let this go, it would get some fruit on it, but not nearly as much as the pepper plants that I just showed. That's because this pepper plant in its pepper brain just wants to go up and up and up and up, and that's not going to be ideal for what we want. So what we're going to do is we are going to prune the top of this pepper plant, or top this pepper, in order to make it bush out, because one tall leggy pepper plant is not really what we want. Now as these pepper plants begin to grow, even after we prune them, we are going to use the Florida weave method. This will be our first year using that, but it's basically going to be our way of holding it up as they get so heavy with the fruit. But if you've ever grown peppers and you've never pruned, what you'll notice is you'll have to stake these or cage these or something very quickly, because this little plant with one little stem is not strong enough to hold up any fruit. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some of our sharp pruners here, and we are going to take off a top node here so we can begin to make this plant bush out. So do you see this right here? This little guy here is trying to be its own little node and its own little bunch of peppers for you, and it's trying to produce for you. Problem is, all the energy is right up here. We have all these nodes up here. What we're going to do is we're going to stop the energy right here, and we're going to bring it back down into the base here. So this is going to look scary, and it probably will be something that you're going to say, there's no way I want to try this, but I promise you it will work. We're going to go right here above several of these nodes, and we're going to just top off this pepper here. Just like that. Now I know you're thinking, well, that looks horrible. Well, I know it does appear to be that way, but if you follow along with us on our channel, you'll see how we can turn this pepper into a pepper with tons of nodes and tons of fruit. If you look at this, you can see that all the pepper was doing is directing all of its energy into this. So what we want here is we want maybe 40 or 50 peppers off this plant instead of the 10 that it was going to give us off of one straight branch. And here's another example. Now we're making sure that we have several nodes at the bottom. So we have one, these ones are actually wanting to bush out already, but a lot of energy is going up here to the top. So we're going to take this energy and shoot it right down, direct it back down to here, 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 and all these below it. So once again, we're going to come in with some nice sharp pruners. We're going to top that off just like that. And I want you to know that this method is not just for those single stem plants. You can also do it to your plants that are already established and make them bush out and produce even more. As you can see, this one's been pruned, and you can see down here where it was pruned at, and we have all these bushing out. So what you can do with these more already established peppers is, I know you're going to say, well, look, there's already blooms in there. Why would I want to cut off those blooms? Well, we're gonna go ahead and cut it off. Because what will happen now is this is going to redirect the energy down, and it's going to pump up all these blooms down here, and we're going to get even more of a bushy, strong, healthy plant. Now, a couple things to remember when you're pruning. Always make sure your pruning shears are nice and sharp, like these Fiskars I have here. I'll put a link down in the description below to Fiskars. Also make sure that they're clean, and when I say clean, I don't mean that there's no dirt on them. I mean that you've rubbed some alcohol on them just to make sure that you're not spreading diseases amongst your plants. And another thing to remember is when you're making your cuts, make your cuts close to the bottom here and make them at an angle. And the reason they say that this is beneficial to make these angled cuts is because when you make an angled cut, if water were to fall on here, it's supposed to drip down instead of sitting on top of a flat surface, causing issues with bacteria and overall unhealthiness of your plant. So as you can see here, I found a couple peppers that we've let get a little bit too long and a little bit too leggy, and this is what I'm talking about. Let me show you. See how that's just one stem there? That is not what we want. And you can even see there's 1, 2, 3 peppers already growing on it, but we don't want just 3 peppers. We want a bunch of peppers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to prune a couple spots. I'm going to prune here. That's scary. And I think I'm going to prune right here. So now we're going to send all this energy back down and take care of this plant and feed the ones that are already growing and make this more of a bushy plant than it is a tall, leggy plant. I want you guys to remember that pruning anxiety, we all get it. You don't want to harm your already growing plant. Pruning plants, fruits, vegetables, things of this nature can be so beneficial in growing more fruit and more food for you and your family. So if you don't believe me, hey, if you got 10 plants, give it a try on one and see what I'm talking about. It's scary at first. I promise you, if you try this on 1 or 2 of your plants at home and you see the results, you're going to be excited and you're going to keep trying it in the future. So with that, thank you so much for joining us here at Cattywampus Acres. Once again, I'm Jason, and I hope that if you enjoyed this video, you'll give us a comment down below on what your thoughts are on pruning, and also give us a thumbs up if you liked it. And if you just absolutely hated us, give us a thumbs down. We get it. It's okay. So to our Cattywampus crew, thank you for coming back and joining us on another video. And if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and hitting that bell notification so you're up to date with everything we're doing here on the farm. We'll see you next time.